Hey, Henry. Hi, will you let Apollo in when you come in? Thank you. Let's see. Okay, good morning. I am still setting up. Sorry, need a moment here. Embed, copy. And we're going to this, right? I need the live stream page. Okay, Jailbreak Your Heart and Howl at the Moon. Beaver Builder. Okay. I'm almost there, like almost. Boom. Let's see. My computer is running so slowly today. I really probably should have restarted it. Oh my God, nothing's loading. I should probably have restarted, but you know, I'm on the 2G network. Hold on, sorry. There we go. Text. Paste. Yay, all right. Done. Publish. Where's Zoom now? Okay. I've got Rose here, admit, and Christina here, admit. Hi, ladies. I've got Christina connected to audio and Rose connected to audio. Hi. Rose, you're muted.
Hi, good morning, Crystal, and how are you?
Good, thank you. How are you?
I had a bit of an adventure, and we can tell, and it's about the ring. And so I can tell you about it now, or we can hear about it later on, but I'm excited to tell you about that.
Okay, I cannot wait. Let's wait a few minutes, but I am really excited to hear about it. As a matter of fact, as I was doing some, work on the goddess Iris, for the Prosperity Garden program.
Yes.
And she's related to the god Mercury. Like she's the female version, not Mercury, actually it would be Hermes, right?
Of course, yes.
Hermes, right? So because I think Hermes is Greek and Mercury is Roman. I think I might be wrong, but I think that's right. Anyway, she's kind of like the female version of the messenger. She's the messenger goddess. Yeah. So I was thinking about you because we're using her as our guide through the Prosperity Garden program, and I'm thinking, I wonder if Rose could use this energy of Iris to help with everything that we talked about as well. It's just something that came to my mind. So I can't wait to hear about your adventure. It's going to be very good.
Thank
Excellent.
you.
Sure. Christina. Hi.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm all right. How are you?
Good, thank you. It's good to see you.
Good to see you guys.
Great. Hey, Ronnie. Ronnie's here. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you, Ronnie?
I'm good.
Good. Excellent. All right. So we're going to do our usual thing. I'm going to start off talking a little bit about energy and what we're being called to from my perspective. So we're going to do a little overall energy view, and then we're going to hop into coaching. Believe it or not, I don't have a whole lot to say today because I've been making the audio recordings for the program outline, you know? Oh, and Christina, you know, every time I sit down to make an audio recording, I think I wanna kiss Christina and I wanna kick her in her booty because yes, exactly. Because well, actually though, I have to say, number one, it's really fun to make the recordings, you know. Um, but it is work, you know, and to make sure the mixing is right. Like today I started recording and my microphone wasn't working properly on just a glitch, like some weird glitchy thing. So I had to go back and redo it. No problem, you do, but it's just it's funny. Anyway, so let's talk about what we're doing here. Now, first of all, my name is Crystal Lynn Bell. And this program, this live stream is called Jailbreak Your Heart and Howl at the Moon. And this is my weekly live stream where I talk to you about energy that's coming from the sun, the moon, whatever else wants to come through. And I will do tarot card readings and coaching for anyone who's watching the live stream. So if you're on YouTube and you have a question that you want me to look into using my tarot cards or just using my intuition, I'm more than happy to do that for you. All you have to do is type your question in. Let me know as much detail as you want to about it, and then I will do the reading for you. Okay. Part of this program is also coaching. So I have 3 ladies who are on the line we're doing some group coaching right here. They have some objectives that they're working through, and I'm going to give them my expert spiritual life coaching advice on how to deal with that stuff. So let's get started. I'm going to just talk to you today about what is coming through what I think we're being called to. So it is April 28th. What is today? Yeah, the 29th, April 29th. And the sun is in Taurus, which means that the issues around Taurus, which are being illuminated. So Taurus has to do with your connection to life and life force energy. So the word that's coming to my mind is fertility. And I do mean fertility in your body, in your physical body. And I do mean fertility in your mind, your ability to be creative in your body and the ability to be creative in your mind. And what I'm feeling with the body is there's our sexual fertility, our ability to feel sexual, our ability to harness sexual energy and to create with it, because that's what sexual energy is. When we have opportunities to express that with another person or by ourselves, that creates a satisfying expression of our natural fertility, right? Now, sexuality, I'm sure we can all relate to that, and we have our different levels of being on that, okay? But one of the things I want you also to think about at this time is the fertility that you have in your body, in your physical body. And this is just in general from head to toe. Your ability to grow your hair, your ability to grow your nails, your ability for your cells to regenerate, the ability for you to get up in the morning and, go for a run. This is also an opportunity for you to tune into this energy. So while the sun is in Taurus, how you feel in your body is important. What you can give birth to in your body is really important, not just sexually, but physically, Do your nails break and chip? Does your hair fall out? Do you have bald patches? I mean, I know I'm saying this and I sound really silly saying it, like, ha ha ha, do you have bald patches? Ha ha ha. All right. But I actually mean this in a very serious way because, there's some people who can have a beautiful head of hair, but then, you notice that there's some part of your hair that isn't performing well. Like you've got, broken, bro- bald spots, you're losing your hair in some places, or your hair is falling out. Every time you go to brush it, you notice that there is a lot more hair in your hand than there used to be. There's, or you notice that your hair is thinning, right? All these things are very real things that people deal with. And of course, you can always look at your health, your diet. You can also go and get help from medical professionals. But when the sun moves into Taurus, there's an opportunity for us to feel into these deficiencies and to understand the energetic connection between the hair loss or the thin nails or the achy joints. Okay, these things are all expressions of our creativity. So during this time with the sun in Taurus, I really recommend that you pay really close attention to your body and see what your body needs and what messages it's trying to give you. For example, two over the last 2 weeks, my left knee has been swelling on the side, and so on the lateral part of my knee and at the top. And there came a point where there were 3 or 4 days where it swole so much I couldn't flex my knee, I couldn't bend my knee. And of course, the solution would be, for many people, is go to the doctor. You need to have the doctor look at that. But being the crazy spiritual life coach that I am, I have to figure that shit out myself. Okay. Just being honest, I had to figure that out. So I had to sit in meditation, sit with my knee, and find out what energetically was not moving forward. And this is what the message was. The message was, there is a part of me that is not moving forward, that's holding me back from moving forward because I'm refusing to confront the truth. Then I had to ask myself, what is the truth? I asked myself what that truth was, and I saw it. I did not like it. I had to deal with it. Okay, so then I spent 2 days asking myself, how do I deal with this? And finally, yesterday, I woke up and I'm like, fuck them. That's how to deal with it. It hit me like a ton of bricks. Like, that's it. This is not a joke. This is not my issue. And I need to stop taking responsibility for people who are sorry. And I need to just like let them do their thing and stop trying to change people and stop trying to get people who are sorry to not be sorry. Because sorry people are sorry people. And like, just because they're in proximity to me doesn't mean that I'm going to raise them up like I'm the alchemist. Okay. I ain't the alchemist. I woke up this morning and guess who didn't have no knee pain? Her, right here. There's still a little bit of swelling, okay? There's still a little bit of swelling, but this morning I did my yoga. I did my whole yoga routine and not one issue from my knee. Do you hear that in the background? No. Okay, good. Okay, just I got a housemate and he crazy. 16-year-old. Living and sharing a house with a 16-year-old Aries. It's actually kind of fun. We have fun. I teach him Italian. He teaches me basketball. By the way, I'm gonna go play some basketball on my unswole up knee. All right. Right. So this is what we do. This is how we use the energy of the sun in Taurus or the sun wherever it is. We just listen and feel and understand that these things are opportunities for us to get more in tune with ourselves and what's going on with us. right? So the last thing that I want to share with you all about the fertility thing is fertility in your mind. So you all know that in my Heart-Centered Entrepreneurs Facebook group, I am having you all do this Planting Your Prosperity Garden program that I've put together, right? This program is about getting in touch with your divine life purpose and saying yes to it on all levels of your being. That's what the class is about. One of the things that is coming up in the very first module is your relationship with your higher self and your relationship with divine life purpose. Now, I spelled this out very clearly in the program, but what I want you all to do, I'm just kind of recap it for you. And what I want you to kind of start to understand is that you must marry your higher self. Does that make sense? Yeah. So this is about creating a union with yourself, and through that union, through that mystical marriage, your divine life purpose is born, right? So it's literally mother, father, right? And you're the mom because you're going to be giving birth to your divine life purpose. And your higher self acts as that protective father, you know. And I'm going to use totally traditional, like old fashioned terms, but I want you to think about your higher self like he's your big daddy. Like you the big mama, he the big daddy, right? Big Daddy is responsible for going out to get the wood, right? You got to chop the wood, you got to get it, he got to go hunting so that he can bring all this stuff home for you to create, because you're the one who has to take everything that he brings you, put it together into something and have a baby, right? You're going to give birth to this baby. So what you are going to do, your divine life purpose is your baby. You and your higher self are going to be in this marriage. Your higher self is going to bring you the resources you need, the investors you need, the clients you need, the readers you need, the audience you need, the equipment you need, right? And your job is to say yes all the time. You must always say yes to your higher self so that it can continue to furnish you with the things that you need. Does that make sense to everybody? How's that making y'all feel? We're okay? All right, because I'm done talking right now. That was all I had to say. Fertility on 3 levels is 8:20. I'm right on time. All right. So boom, let's have you all unmute yourselves when you're ready to talk or when you have something to share. Okay. Anybody got anything to share on anything that I've said? If not, don't worry about it. All right, coolio. So hold on one second. Boom. Here we go. All right, so here's what we're going to do right now then. We're going to look at our coaching, the document that I created in Airtable. And we will look at that and find out where you all are in, let's see, there it is. Oh, whoops. Find out where you all are in doing the work and yeah, just move through our coaching agenda. Okay. So Rose, you are first on the call today. So why don't we start with you?
All right. Well, good morning, everyone. It's so lovely to see the three of you. You really, really inspire me. All of you do. And as I was saying last week,
Aw.
just I learned so much from all of your lives, and just thank you always for your honesty, for your vulnerability, for being your beautiful, amazing selves. So just so much
Aw.
love for all of you. That's the first
Thank
thing.
you, Rose. Thank you.
The second thing is, so I've had some strange, no, not strange things happen. Nothing is strange this week, but there was a misadventure with the ring. So
Okay.
I got an email yesterday from the seller who's based in Ireland, and it turns out that the post office actually switched my delivery package with another person's. So someone else had ordered 2 Amazonite rings, and I ended up getting those instead. But she said that she would
Okay.
send that she would send the emerald today, and it should come by the full moon. But
Right.
one of the rings is this beautiful ring finger ring, Amazonite, and the other ring is a pinky ring. And so, considering that I had both of them, I was like, okay, so the truth is the universe is actually giving me more gifts. And rather than saying this, oh, what if it doesn't come in time? What if I don't get the emerald? What if I can't do the ritual in time? I thought, you know what? The universe is trying to tell me something else by sending me these extra gifts. And so what I did is I thought, the ring finger ring fits me perfectly. The pinky's a little big. How about I call my big sister, who's currently self-isolating in Toronto with her family, and see if she would be interested in getting the pinky ring? And so I called her, I told her the story about the ring misadventure and sent her a picture of the ring, and she said she would absolutely love it. And I feel like, well, I am certain that this is a metaphor for something going on. The universe gives me abundance, but I can find a way to share it with other people. And so my plan is hopefully to the next few days, I actually still have some jewelry for my sister that I got from India last summer that I can go to the post office and send her the beautiful pinky ring. She and I will now have matching rings that we can wear. And I will send her,
Oh.
yeah, and I'll send it to her. So it feels really right, and I feel very at peace. Also, Crystalline, as you can see, open front and open back.
Oh yeah, this is perfect. Is that the same style for your emerald?
Yes.
Amazing. Yeah, that's perfect. That is 100% perfect. I love this so much, Rose, and I love this story. I love your take on it, you know, where what it's activating in you. I think it's absolutely beautiful. And you know, you're so cute because you come on and you know, you thank everyone for being here with you. And I think it's such a sweet, sincere, um, it's not a gesture, it's just a way of being, which I just think is so, it's really wonderful, you know? So of course God sent you 2 extra rings. Of course. One would expect no less, you know? So yes, very good. I'm so happy for you. So happy to hear that. Now, and your sister, how sweet is that also that you're sharing that with her? I think that's amazing. I'm also kind of really tripping off of the Irish thing that's happening right now because as you know, in the Facebook group, we have Brigitte, who's from she's not Irish, she's actually Hungarian,
Mhm.
living in Ireland. So she's been in Ireland for 20 years. So she's, you know, she's kind of Irish though. She says, I don't have an Irish accent. I'm like, yeah, you do. That accent right there is totally Irish. She's adorable, man. Um, and then we have another woman who, let's see, she's brand new, but I can't remember. She mentioned Ireland again yesterday. Her name is, I think, Dorothée. I'm not sure. I have to learn. I have to meet her more. And she mentioned Ireland in her in one of her posts. Like I think she lived there as well. So there's just an Irish thing that's coming through that I'm kind of really enjoying. So I would love the ring maker, by the way.
Mhm.
Maybe Rose, if you wouldn't mind posting her information in the Facebook group,
Absolutely,
that would
absolutely.
be that would be awesome.
Wonderful.
Now, darling, what has come up for you this week that you maybe want to talk about?
So in terms of my work, I've had periods of immense productivity, but also periods of complete burnout and exhaustion, and then also a few things coming up with self-worth. So um,
Okay.
being a singer, so in typical Virgo fashion, I'm very fastidious. I'm like perfectionist to my core, and so and with my singing voice, actually, I feel like I'm going through a little bit of a growth spurt. One of my vocal registers has really thickened out and gotten warm and luscious, but then um, it feels like I'm learning how to drive a new car or something, and so it's a little bit difficult to deal with. And so when I practice, sometimes things that I used to be able to do, I'm not doing quite so well, and so I feel resistance. I get very frustrated and angry at myself when I'm like, why am I not getting this right away? I'm Virgo. I'm like, things just come to me. But
Yeah.
I'm kind of stepping in my own way, and then um, and then there's a lot of self-flagellation with self-talk. So,
Yeah.
and then
Right.
my wonderful fiance who I live with, who's also a musician, music technologist, he really calms me down. But he said, you know what, you just have to be consistent and understand that progress looks a lot more like this than this.
Right. Absolutely. That is for sure. One of the things, though, that comes to me right now, Rose, as I'm sitting listening to you, is there's a question about what this kind of new car wants to say. Like, I'm curious, what if this new car wants to take you on a new road in a totally new direction, right? Because what I'm hearing is like you feel like you should be able to take this new part of yourself and make it do old things that you used to be able to do. But I'm just wondering if maybe it might be asking you to, like, hey, I want to do something different. I'm curious. How does that feel for you?
That feels It feels aligned because I know that I am meeting it with resistance, because it's like, I don't want to change. I want to just be the same. I like my voice how it is. I
Yeah.
don't want to. And
Hmm.
sometimes in the classical music field, with every field, it's so easy to compare myself to others. And I'm just like, am I even a soprano if my high notes are shit? And so like my middle voice is sticking
Right.
out, and I'm like, ugh. So it's so because I am feeling resistance, Crystalline, I know that the resistance is telling me something, that maybe I do want to
Yeah.
go in a different direction. And
Yeah.
I can be
Yeah.
very stubborn
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah. Let's ask. Let's ask and see what your spirit guides say. What question should we ask, Rose?
Um, I'm thinking the first question that came to mind is, what am I afraid of losing if I go in a different direction?
Such a good question. Wow. Ooh, okay, hold on. We have Four of Cups. What am I afraid of losing if I go in a different direction? Okay. Definitely, there is a sense of like a fear of losing that outer shell of yourself,
Mhm.
that kind of um, reliable part of you that was very much attached to things that were a part of you but weren't necessarily meant to be yours. Like you have attachment to things that aren't really a part of you. Therefore, they're not yours. They're just kind of beings that have attached themselves. You all have attached yourselves to one another but that doesn't mean that that's supposed to go. And maybe that actually there is a part of you that really does need to be let go of, and that's not really who you are. And the message is also that there is definitely a part of you that is preoccupied with the surface. And as you change, and you watch the changes, there's definitely a sense of connection, like okay, you know, fascination, like you're able to be fascinated by the changes, but you don't necessarily, you don't know what to do with those changes yet, and you're gonna have to definitely deal with like developing new muscles, right? So I think you said it, Rose. There's already something that's coming through, and you're going to have to learn what that is. So I think this is an affirmation, maybe with the kind of addition of, you know, you've got to let go of those kind of old ideas that aren't really yours. They were friends inside you, you know, like they were your friends. And you can still be friends, but you might have to go this a little bit more on your own without them. How does that feel for you?
That feels aligned. What you were saying about preoccupation with the surface, because of this growth spurt, I'm scared that if I post videos of me singing, the people will be like, "Is that even your voice? Have you gotten worse or better?" And so being my Enneagram is 2, so helper but people pleaser. There's always a sense of, am I making people happy? Am I enough? If people don't like how I'm sounding, will I be considered enough in the music industry? And so it was, and so all that preoccupation at the surface, especially in the COVID times, like when everything is online and you have to project your identity all the time, it gets really exhausting. And I think part of it is that recently I've actually been posting videos of myself from 2 years ago, just kind of as a from the vault type thing. But I'm
Sure.
like, but this is actually not how I'm sounding these days. And I feel like my voice is totally different. And so it feels nice to relive the past, but it also doesn't feel authentic. So that actually is very much in
Right.
alignment with what you were saying. That's
Yeah.
very much
Wow,
in
that's so interesting. You know, a lot of artists are doing video casts from home, right? And Nora Jones, I think pretty much every day, you know, just turns on YouTube while she practices piano and sings, you know?
Oh, so lovely.
And yeah, it is really nice. And it's kind of interesting to watch her just kind of working through her moments without trying to impress and without trying to please, and how it feels so much more intimate. And you know, you can really start to like her even more, you know, like not as a fan, but as a human being having depth. And I'm wondering if maybe this is something that you can kind of think about as well. I thought there is one other thing, but it seems to have left my mind. Give me just 1 second, Rose. Oh, it has to do with kind of understanding yourself as an evolution and appreciating yourself as an evolution, as opposed to status quo, you know, maintaining status quo within yourself, you know? Yeah, that's what's coming up for me. Yeah. Cool. I think that's probably it for now, Rose. And unless there's anything else you might want to share.
That's it for now, but that makes sense. So I like the idea of viewing myself as an evolution because
Mhm.
it actually kind of goes against societal ideas of, um, oh my gosh, it completely goes against that because
Mhm.
society has very, very specific standards. And the truth is, I feel like as human beings, we're always evolving. And
Yeah.
I think there's
Yeah.
something to be embraced. So it's not like you, you can't be young forever, and that's okay, at least not in this body.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah, that's really well said. Yeah, when I've been dealing with my knee over these last couple of weeks, it's been this feeling of, oh my God, I'm so old. And actually, there's not it had nothing to do with age. My issue had everything to do with my own mentality. So that could happen, when you're in your 20s or your teens, whatever. It's like, okay, you're not moving forward. Although, after 50 years of not confronting your stuff, okay, yes, it's a little harder to deal with at 50 than it is at 20, but still it's the same concept. It is an evolution for
Mhm.
sure. Very good. Excellent, Rose. Thank you very much for sharing.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sure, sure. All right, Christina. When you're ready, sweetheart, go ahead and unmute yourself. Hi. Hmm.
Hello.
So, Christina, what's been going on? How's your week been? What are we working on for you today?
My week has been all right. I think I have some questions about communication and self-worth. So it goes back to, kind of the original objectives that I set out with about feeling like you're enough, feeling like, self-validation, self-worth, self-love, all that. But then how does all that translate in regards to communication with other people? And if they're saying things that you don't agree with, or if you're having, tension with another human, um, how not to take that on when you're in the midst of, doing your own work around worth and validation of yourself. I think from last week, I kind of have been working really hard at going a little easier on myself, not beating myself up so much, not
Good.
trying to go so hard all the time, 24/7. And I have moments where I feel like, okay, I'm in flow, I'm working, it feels good. And then when those moments kind of shift, instead of trying to power through, which sometimes I still do, but there were other times when I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna take a break, and I just closed the
Hmm.
laptop and just kind of took a break.
Hmm.
And then later,
Great.
instead of beating myself up about that, I just was like, okay, I had to talk myself into it's okay to take a break. It's okay to not be on 24/7. It's okay to, just try to be for a little while. So,
Very good.
in and out of that.
Very good. So, Christina, can you be more specific with this situation about communication? Is that possible?
Yeah. So my wife and I, um, we were living separately, possibly on the road to divorce, and then kind of decided, okay, let's take a pause, let's try to work on this. And then when the whole COVID thing happened, I was at her place for like a day or two because we were working on some stuff, and then I just ended up staying. Like I literally haven't been back to my place in over a month.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's pros and cons, ups and downs with that. But, as we are there all day together, there's times and moments where, things are good and fun being there. And then there's times and moments where our shit comes up and
Mm-hmm.
it's not pretty and it gets really frustrating sometimes when I
Okay.
feel like I am doing a lot of work to be better and do better and improve myself, but then there's still these old conversations and old ways of being that we're working through, and it's not translating to the new mindset shift and level where I want to be. And I think the communication of it all, like I actually went and dug a little bit into our chart because I know that, Cancer and
Mm-hmm.
Scorpio, I'm a Cancer sun, she's a Scorpio sun. And I know that Cancer and
Mm-hmm.
Scorpio, we have very dynamic relationships. And when I
Mm-hmm.
actually went and looked at compatibility by our chart, it was like, oh man, this pair is really great. Had tons of different things that were really great. Every single thing that was bad had to do with communication. Like
Mm-hmm.
every single thing that could be wrong with our relationship had to do with communication. And we know that
Mm-hmm.
communication isn't it. But I think just I don't know how in the midst of what I'm doing for myself, how to stay grounded in that work and still work on communication with another.
Okay. So a couple of things are coming up for me. I'm really glad that you spent some time looking at your astrology charts because I consider your astrological blueprint to be literally a blueprint of your soul. Like, this is what you came to Earth to do. And when you do the kind of compatibility chart, is that what you did? A compatibility chart? Okay. When you do a compatibility chart, you are actually looking at, how your soul is, you know, and your partner's soul, how they're working together to evolve the two of you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, um, interestingly, there are a couple of things actually that I want to say. I hope I remember the second one. The first thing, though, is finding yourself in a situation where there's discomfort is 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 by design, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is your soul saying, hey, here's your learning opportunity. How are you going to deal with it, right? So for me, Christina, I think it's really important always to start with myself and
Right.
especially when there are issues of communication. Not how am I communicating? I don't mean that in the physical, mechanical, or even in the logical, what am I communicating? But maybe more about what part of my psyche is being projected through my communication. Does that make sense?
So like
What part of my
if I'm
psyche? Mm-hmm.
so like if I'm communicating and I'm frustrated, that what like taking a look at where is that frustration or anger coming from?
Partially. So let's say, can you give me an example of communication being a problem with your partner?
Um, like if I get emotional, like because I'm emotional all the time. So I am coming to a place where I'm trying to understand these emotions, but also, what we talked about, not letting the emotions overwhelm you, control you, run your day, take over your thoughts. But if I'm in a conversation and I start to feel upset and I maybe cry, I feel like that frustrates her. And then I don't want to talk. I shut down because it's like, well, it doesn't make any sense to try to talk anymore because I'm not being heard. I'm not getting my point across. And I just get more frustrated because it's like I want to talk, but I don't feel like it's safe to talk. There's a lot of safety
Yeah.
there with how I can communicate.
Yeah.
And I think, is it okay to communicate?
Right. Let me sit with this for a second because it's touching on a few things. Hold on one moment. So what's coming up, Christina, is are you asking for someone who can't do something to do something? Are you asking someone to do something that they cannot do?
I feel like the cannot do part is because there's a lot of pain there. There's a lot of stuff there that's built up over several years. So I feel like in the what we're asking of each other, it's the can't part comes from there just being a bunch of stuff in the way.
Yeah, I agree. The thing is, there's certain things that you can control and certain things that you cannot control. And
Mm-hmm.
it takes time to work through those things, right? And if your partner, of course, is willing to work through the stuff, then you know that the change will, you all are evolving together, right? If they are, but if they're not willing to do the work, then that can't, doesn't matter what the reason is. The can't is a won't. Does it make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So are you asking them to do something that they can't or won't do?
Well, I mean, I don't know. That would be something that she would have to tell me if she can't or won't. I feel like in
Have you all never
discussions it's a
discussed
can't.
it?
I was gonna say I feel like in discussions it's a can't, but not a won't.
Mhm. So have you all talked about this issue together? Have you all discussed the communication and your needs together? Like, what do you need? Well, I need you to.
That's something that we're practicing with our therapist because we just started
Great.
couple therapy maybe a month ago, month and a half ago. But even with that, it's like,
Okay.
okay, during the session we have these little tools, these little exercises, and outside of the session, like there's effort there, but we're not like really diving all in.
Right. Therapy does take time, right? It's a process of getting things done, and maybe after, a few months you can reevaluate. 1 month is still pretty early on, right? So in the now, what is it that you feel like you need for yourself in order to stay with your wife in the same place and shelter in place? What do you need for yourself?
I just need to know better how I can better stay grounded in the work that I'm doing on self and make sure that I clean up my side of the street. Like, I want to clean up my side of the street so that I'm coming with the best intentions, that I'm coming with the best um, tools and energy. Um, but I feel like I'm not always doing that because there's just so much in the air that it gets distracting when I'm trying to do my own
Yeah,
work.
yeah. I certainly can relate to that, Christina. I think it's a really important point that you're making. Um, and having, listening more to the bigger picture, it helps, it makes more sense, just to kind of see, right, okay, there she is. Hi. It makes a lot more sense to, yeah. So here's what I would love for you to do. Oh, one of the things that it sounds like is happening is it sounds like you have a need to be heard and seen, and maybe that need is not being met. Is that correct or accurate?
Hmm.
Is that the truth for that part of you that um, gets emotional and then responds to the frustration of your partner?
Um, yeah, because it's like what we talked about with our therapist that for me was a big light bulb was about different communication styles. And you have the
Mhm.
passive and passive aggressive and aggressive and then assertive, which is like in the middle. And so she had each of us talk about the communication styles that we grew up with. So like your parents, your family, what did you grow up seeing? How did you learn how to communicate? And in talking about the communication styles where I grew up in my household, it was like, holy shit, this is kind of like why I communicate the way I communicate. It doesn't mean that that's the way I desire to communicate, but that's kind of what I learned and the way that I have survived through life till now. So being passive or even passive aggressive, not even intending to or feeling like that was the intention that I was bringing to the table, but kind of realizing that that's what it is. So then, okay, and I realized the passive, that doesn't really work. That's not where I want to be. The
But
passive
wait, sorry,
aggressive can
Christina,
definitely
hold on a second. I'm not
Mhm.
sure if you're answering my question. My question is, what do you need? What does that part of you need in that moment when you said you express yourself to your partner, then you start crying and your partner is frustrated? My question is, what is it that you're needing?
I need to, number one, still communicate in those moments because once I start to feel frustrated or flustered, I just will stop communicating. And number two, I need to feel like it's okay to, as I'm pushing through the communication struggle for myself, for it to be okay for those emotions to be
Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. So I would like for you to take care of those things within yourself, right? Those are things that you can control. That is cleaning up the street, your side of the street, right? So practicing, okay, how can I continue to communicate and giving yourself permission to be the communicator that you are, the way you communicate, giving yourself permission to do that. Right? Does it make sense? Or
Mm-hmm.
what do you think?
That makes sense.
What?
No, I'm just thinking about what you said. Giving myself permission to communicate the way I am.
Right? So this is the internal process, and that's the starting point. So one of the things that you can do is to think back to the earliest memory you had of kind of feeling shut down around your communication. We would want the earliest age, as early as we can possibly get before age 8. Okay, so what between birth and age 8 was the period or the instant or one memory of that kind of, I'm trying to express something that's important, and then seeing the look of frustration on somebody else's face, right? Finding any of those, doesn't have to be one specific thing, but just finding those times. Then what you would do, Christina, is go to one of those little aspects of yourself, one of those little girls, and then parent her, nurture her, offer her some sort of companionship, some sort of advocacy, some sort of solidarity, so that, and not to correct her, don't invalidate her experience by saying, you shouldn't do this, like you're shutting down, don't shut down, don't tell her that. Instead, tell her, I see you shutting down right now, and it's okay for you to shut down. I see you feeling affected by their look. It's okay for you to feel this way. And what this validation does, this is validation. So what it does is it gives the girl permission to feel what she's feeling. And that has a kind of ripple effect, which will spread throughout the different times that she's felt that way. And it moves also forward to you, so that you'll feel the experience of, it's okay for me to feel this way. Okay, she's getting frustrated, and I feel like I want to go hide. It's okay for me to feel this way. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
What you're doing is creating a feeling of safety in your feelings. When you feel safe to feel what you feel, your system becomes more easy and more easily moves forward into the next big step or the next small step. So next time you're in this situation, the frustrated look will appear. You'll react. You'll know you have permission to feel this way. You'll relax, and then other parts of yourself can come forward. Eventually, what you notice is, I see that frustrated look on your face, and I don't care. I'm good. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Very good. Is there anything else that you want to talk about? or anything else you want me to look at? Okay. All right. There you go. So, all right then. Ronnie, thanks for sharing, Christina. Ronnie, what are we working on for you today?
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Well, my situation is kind of like similar to Christina's. Um, like I've mentioned last week, I was like a little off balance when my relationship is
Yeah.
not how it should be. And like Christina mentioned before, like it's kind of like similar. Like I said, me and my husband was living separate for about a year, and out of nowhere he moved back in, and it just kind of like threw me off balance. So it's about 4 or 5 months now. And, I had a plan in my head of the way I wanted things. I wanted to heal myself before I stepped back into the marriage. And it didn't happen that way. And I've been upset for the since he's been here, because things haven't went my way, and causes me to shut down, like, and not really express myself. And as
Yeah.
far as like me being productive and my goals and things like that, I can't really focus on anything, because I just had things set in my mind a certain way, and it didn't go that way. So it's just hard for me to like move forward.
There are a couple of things that are coming up for me right away, Ronnie. One is, do you regret him moving back?
I do, and then I don't. Like, I feel more safer that he's here, but I do feel like we kind of like bring the worst out of each other at times. Like,
Yes.
when we're bad, we're bad, but when we're good, we're great. So I regret it in some ways.
My next question is, hold on, I keep seeing a ring. Let's see. What is it that you desire to achieve that he's stopping you from achieving? Or the
I
relationship
desire
is?
to achieve enlightenment, self-enlightenment, being evolved into my higher self. And I feel like he's stopping it because how do I put it? How's he? Oh, because he just brings that part of me that my shadow side, I'm trying to let go of. He brings it out.
And what happens when you let go of your shadow self?
Well, if he let go of his shadow self at the same time, then I think we can be great together.
When you say that you desire to evolve into your higher self, what do you think that process is?
Spending time with yourself, learning yourself, getting rid of old habits, forming new habits, Yeah. I
right?
think, yeah.
Wouldn't it be so easy,
Yeah.
right?
Easier
Right?
said than done. Yep.
But you know that doesn't actually evolve yourself, right? That doesn't evolve you to your higher self. The thing that evolves you to your higher self is your husband. The fact is, you have a fast one-way ticket to
Right.
evolving to your higher self with your husband living there with you. You would not be evolving to your higher self if your husband was not living there with you. So you see why you created this situation at the level of your soul, because your soul was like, look, you need to evolve to your higher self. That's what I want to do, you know? And you
Hmm.
can't, that's you don't get enlightenment by sitting in a cave. That's not really how enlightenment comes.
Right. Right.
Enlightenment is when you sit in that cave and you feel all zen, and then you go back into community and you build with the community. You don't sit there and point your finger at the community and say, y'all doing wrong. I'm evolved. Y'all doing wrong. It doesn't work that way, right?
Right. Right.
So you actually are giving your soul the best evolvement. So, one of the things that the way to evolve your soul is to practice being at peace with your husband. You know, whenever he's there and things are getting bad, having a beautiful system, not to kind of like escape your shadow, but to honor whatever is coming up, right? So you go and you do shadow work, right? You have an argument or things, he pissed you off, all right? This wasn't done and you pissed off. So you, okay, you all have your, let's say you even get like just an ugly old argument, you know, what you do with that energy is where the evolution comes in. If you do nothing with that energy, you do nothing about that situation, then you know that you're just expanding laterally, right? Now, if you take that argument, you go into your room and you sit down with spirit and with God and you say, this happened, I feel bad. Here's what bothers me. Here's his perspective. And you sincerely try to come to some kind of resolution on your own, you becoming at peace with this situation, seeing his point of view, right? Doing your best, okay? That's one level of soul evolvement or evolution, right? One level of soul evolution. Now you take that new self. I feel good. I resolved it. I feel good. You go into the living room and he looks at you with a look and you're like, oh shit, no, I ain't evolved. I'm back. So you go back into your bedroom and you're like, God damn it, I'm still pissed off. Okay. So this is the process of life. Okay. You might get stuff quickly or you might get stuff more slowly. The important thing is that you still and continue to evolve yourself, learning more and more about yourself. And most importantly, Ronnie, is you have to listen, because sometimes your intuition is going to be like, look, you're done. This is not changing. You've done the shadow work. You did the meditation. You did the prayer. You've listened to God. You've done everything that you can do. The only thing that you do now is to leave, right? That might be where it takes you. I don't know. You have to work through it and see. But you always want to make those decisions, not really from your mind, but from the union of your mind and your body, right? That mystical marriage, the union of the mind and the body, bringing those two things together.
Hmm.
If it says to go, then you go. If it says to stay, do this, try this, just enjoy that as a part of the process of your evolution, because that's what you're doing, evolving to the most powerful Ronnie she can be. Ronnie
Right.
who cannot handle challenge is not powerful, Ronnie. That's weak Ronnie. Because when challenge comes, she doesn't have any experience, you
Right.
know? Cool.
Yeah.
Makes sense, sweetheart?
Yep, it definitely does.
Mhm.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that for your home fun, I want you to try to, figure out what your processes are. Always listening to spirit, praying, meditating, journaling, taking oracle cards, however you do it. It's fine. Okay. Doing that and then letting that be your path,
I think like I'll start a process, but I always stop. I let my negative thoughts, take over, and I just won't push through. So I have a lot of
Okay.
things that I have started, but it's just I can't seem to be able to push through.
Yes. When you say a lot of things that you have started but can't push through, do you mean like individual exercises or programs? What do you mean?
Individual exercises and like
Like you'll see a system like, oh, do this, and it'll
yeah.
have steps written out, and
Mhm.
you'll get through the first couple steps, but then you're like, okay, I'm done. I can't.
I might go through all the steps, but then the next day I'm not consistent with it. That's the thing.
I
Yeah.
got you. It's an issue, girl. Look,
Yeah.
it's an issue. It's an
Yeah.
issue. So in the Prosperity Garden program that I've launched, I'm dealing with this issue of not being able to follow through.
Okay.
And it's going to take a little while for us to get there. We won't get into that until maybe week 4.
Okay.
But what you're experiencing is real. Not following through is the problem,
Yeah.
right? So, and not following through is something that starts in ourselves. We don't follow through with our own self, So it, of course, comes out in our actions and our behaviors and the way we deal with things.
Hmm.
But there's a reason why you don't follow through, Ronnie. So I want you over this next week to explore why you don't follow through.
Well,
I want you to notice what comes up for you. Please go ahead.
what comes up for me is because I've been like thinking about this hard. It's just excuses because I feel like I don't have the time that I need for myself. I have to. My daughter's around me. I have to be a mom, and then I have to cater to my husband. So I don't really have that time to myself to really work on the things that I need to work on. But maybe it's just not supposed to be that way.
Yeah, well, and this is like that's a valid excuse. I mean, it's not really an excuse. It's the reason why, right? Like your daughter, you can't just say go be over there for an hour,
Right.
right? I mean, especially right now, but it doesn't work that way. So when we go into the prosperity garden, this is a really good example. In the program, one of the things, the idea is that there is a garden, like you're a gardener and you want to make a garden, right?
Hmm.
Well, when a gardener makes a garden, they don't just go and start digging in the dirt and laying down seeds, right? The
Hmm.
gardener has to first stand on their plot of land and explore what's going on with the land. They have to look at the soil. They have to think about the climate. They got to know how much rainfall comes. They can't expect a cactus garden to grow in the middle of, northern Canada. It ain't going to happen.
Right.
So why do we as humans expect ourselves to be able to do, like, why would we expect a mother with a 4-year-old daughter and stepchildren to be able to do what a single woman does with a dog?
Right.
We can't, you know? So
Right.
the first thing you have to do, Ronnie, is understand who you are and what you can accomplish right now. What do you have the capacity for? You know, what is reasonable to expect from you right now?
Right.
And don't expect more than what's reasonable to expect. Don't do that to yourself, and don't do that to your family, because it's those unreasonable expectations that make us crazy. We're trying to reach something that's not reachable, you
Mm-hmm.
know, which is why I was asking Christina earlier, are you trying to get your partner to do something that they can't do?
Right.
Right? And what I heard her saying is, well, she could do it if she changed this, that, and the other. And I'm like, yeah, that takes time.
Right.
Lots of time. So right now you're trying to get her to do something she can't do. So she's got another solution. But it's the same thing for you to do for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Don't expect yourself to be evolving in the way that you think evolution looks. Like, I'm going to sit with my journal, I'm going to drink a cup of tea, and I'm going to like do this work. It just doesn't work that way, right? Your evolution is going to come by having to multitask and having very little time to yourself. And there's your evolution.
I just need to come to some type of right. I guess I need to realize that and stop trying
Yeah,
to want it my way.
sure. According to an idealized part of your mind, right?
Right. Right.
Because, and I totally get it. Again, I totally get that, you know, but that road is not realistic. And I can guarantee you that you are evolving now harder than anybody. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, people who are in these situations where you have a partner and children and this is where the evolution comes. The thing that I want you to do, though, is to pray for real evolution within this, right? So that you're able to take the opportunities, these challenges, see the opportunity and receive the opportunity. So when, like, the kids didn't clean up, right? The habituated response is, the kids didn't clean up, I'm mad. The kids didn't clean up, I'm mad. The kids didn't clean up, I'm mad. It repeats itself over and over.
It has been.
Instead, girl, y'all all up in the house together. So yeah, I get it. The thing is, the prayer is, God, help me break the pattern within myself. The kids didn't clean up, I'm mad. The kids didn't clean up, wait, how can I change this? The kids didn't clean up, I'm mad. You know, the kids didn't clean up, I'm mad. Okay, praying. Wait, God, come on now, God, help me see this situation through your eyes. That's prayer. God, I need to see this situation through your eyes. The kids didn't clean up. Well, why didn't the kids clean up? How can I get these kids to clean up? What do I want? I want the kids to clean up. Well, actually, what I want is the house cleaned. So I'm
Yes.
going to clean up. I'm going to clean up. I'm going to clean up. I'm cleaning up, but I'm mad. I'm cleaning up, but I'm mad. But I want to be cleaning up. Do I want to be cleaning up? No, I want the kids to clean up. Right? So there's going to be a dialogue, but when you bring source energy, when you bring your spirit guides into it, they're going to guide you to understanding what it is ultimately in you that is projecting this untidy house into your life, because everything that you experience in the outside world is a projection of what's going on inside. So that's not easy to see when you're a human, because you're the human in the forest. You cannot see the forest because you're in the forest. So
Mm-hmm.
you need your higher self, God, to see the bigger picture and to communicate that to you. So this is why you pray, God, help me see the bigger picture. Help me see this through your eyes, right? And what you see is that actually, okay, I just want the house cleaned. But what God will also show you is that this particular child doesn't even understand the language that you're speaking. Like this child, you're saying pick up, and that kid hears womp womp, right? So when you see that, you can come up with solutions, and you might find that all your kids are hearing different things, or that they are dealing with some kind of a wound in themselves. So instead of them picking up, what they're doing is they're afraid. This thing has become a problem for them, and they're withdrawing. And you're trying to force them to do something that on a subconscious level they're afraid of, right? Because if they pick up their toys, they might not remember where they put them, or somebody might get it, So they leave it out here so it gets hidden. These are subconscious processes. They don't make sense. But when you use source energy, your spirit guides, they'll show you the subconscious processes so you can take logical action on them. Make sense?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, because that's been my whole issue. I want the house to be in order. Everything has a place, and it drives me crazy. And I feel like if the house is not in order, then I can't do nothing. Like I can't do my work, can't do anything, because my mind is just like all over the place.
Exactly. It makes perfectly good sense, Ronnie. I don't blame you one bit. I don't blame you one bit. So again, using prayer to help you. And the next week, we have to start that process of assessing your life, right? Assessing you. You want to evolve spiritually. Well, we got to assess who you are. That's what we're going to do in the program. How much time do you have? How much space do you have? What are your duties, responsibilities? How can you get organized to give yourself 5 minutes a day, or 20 minutes a day, or 40 minutes? Can you do it if you change things up? How do you delegate your things around the house? Where are there points where there's actually quiet, where everybody's kind of doing something? Because people are cyclical, and we will harmonize. Like this house I'm in, there are 8 of us in this house, and we harmonize. Like there are times when it's real quiet, everybody's quiet. Why everybody quiet right now? Like who knows, but we are, so if you look, you will find the way. All right.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome, darling. All right. So I guess Christina's not going to hop back on the call. Is there anything else before we sign off for today?
Nope.
All right. Very good. Excellent. So thank you for joining. Thanks to Christina also. And I look forward to seeing you all next week. All right.
Okay. All right.
All right. Very
Bye,
good.
Rose.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, everybody. Bye.
Bye.